This is the number calculator set C worksheet. Okay, make sure you have done set A and set B so far, and let's look at what set C should look like. So this is what you should have in front of you. You should have a calculator nearby, and it's the calculator paper. Okay, let's go through this quickly. This here is a question that came up recently in an exam. What you need to recognize is that you need to replace x in both of these cases here with 0.2. Okay, and when you do that, this is what it should look like. So on your calculator, you're going to have brackets 0.2 plus 6, close brackets, all cubed, and all of that is over 5 times 0.2. Now you need to also recognize that 5x means 5 times whatever x is, and in this case it's 0.2. You need to write down all the numbers on your calculator screen. That is what you should get, and make sure it is there. Question 2 says give your answer to question 1 to one significant figure. So count one number from the front. You're going to chop it off there. That number is 200. Do I need to change it? The next number along is a 3. So no, I don't need to change it. So to one significant figure, it is just 200. Question 3, each of those numbers, the money part, you need to divide by how many plants there are to work out the cost of one plant. So the first one, £9.60 divided by 30, I'm going to get 0.32. 1575 divided by 50, that's going to give me 0.315, and the next one, 2226 divided by 70, 0.318. Now, if you actually wrote down all of those answers to 2 decimal places, they would all have been 0.32. Look carefully at it. That's why we need to write them to as many degrees of accuracy as possible. I'm going to actually write them to 3 decimal places, so I put a 0 there to make that 3 decimal places. Now compare them, 320, 315, 318. That means trade B is the best value. Question 4. Because it's just one number that's recurring, it'd be that number over 9, so it's 7 over 9. Simple. You should really be able to remember this from the other 2 that you did. In question 5, I have 2 9s in the bottom, right? So think about it in relation to question 4. I have 2 9s in the bottom, so that means the 5 and the 2 are going to be recurring, and so I'll need to write 0.52 with a dot above both of them. Question 6, let y equal 0.45 recurring, so times it by 10, times it by 10 again, do the subtraction, so I'll get 90 is equal to 41, and y is 41 over 90. You should be pretty good at this. Make sure if you get a question like this in the exam, you are able to get it completely correct. Question 7. This was a question in a non-calculator exam, right? So I'll put it here so that you can use a calculator to just get the structure, but you should be able to do this without a calculator. The number of units used, the new reading, take away the old reading, that's going to give me 60. The price per unit, times it by 15. 60 times 15 is 900. But remember, this is in pence. So in pounds, it's £9 exactly. Try this without a calculator. Make sure you can do it. Make sure you use the column method for the subtraction. Make sure you use whatever technique you're happy with for the multiplication, and you are able to get it right. Question 8 is a compound interest question. Make sure you're able to do this properly. For compound interest, I need to work out the multiplier, and the multiplier is 100 plus the rate of interest that you're dealing with. So this is going to be 103.2%. That as a decimal, if I divide that by 100, I'll get 1.032. This is the main bit, getting the multiplier. So I'm going to have 7,000 times my multiplier to the power of 4. Why 4? Because it's 4 years. If you put this onto your calculator, this is what it should look like. Remember, it's money you're dealing with, so you need to round it to 2 decimal places. So that's going to be £7,939.93. No rounding necessary because the next number along is a 2. Question 9. Jim buys a car for £19,000. It depreciates at a rate of 15%. So depreciation means it's going down in value. So this time I'm going to do 100 take away 15. That's going to be 85%. As a decimal, that's going to be 0.85. Okay, 0.85 is my decimal value. Now, when I do that, I'm going to do the same thing, very similar to what I did in question 8. My money, 19,000. times my multiplier to the power of the number of years that I'm dealing in, and this is 13 years. When I work that out, this is what it's going to look like on the calculator. Add to 2 decimal places, chop it off there. The next number along is that 4. Need to make no changes to that, so it's going to be £2,297.20. Question 10. A store has a sale of 30%. The price of a dress in the sale is £63. So the original price is 100%. The sale takes 30% off, so that means you're paying 70%. So in other words, 70% is £63. So 70% of the original price is £63. 1% is going to be 63 divided by 70, and you can use your calculator to that, and that gives you 0.9. 100% would be 100 lots of 0.9. Do the times in on your calculator again if you wish, and that gives you £90, and that's your normal price. That's the normal price of the dress. Going quickly to question 11, exchange rate. Drawing your arrows, going forward it's times, going backwards it's divide. And now figure out whether you're going forward or backward. The cost of a sandwich is £5. What's the cost in dollars? So I'm going from pounds to dollars. I'm going forward, so I'll need to times 5 times 125, and that gives me $6.25. That's it. Always be careful and be keen to put in your units in the answer if they don't have units in there, and you get marks for that. Write in the units or the currency that you're dealing with in your answer. Question 12. The lower bound of x is going to be 15.5. The lower bound of the upper bound of x is going to be 16.5. Y is going to, the lower bound is going to be 31.5, and the upper bound is going to be 32.5. Find the maximum value. So the maximum value will be found from using the upper bounds of both. Yep. So I'm going to use 16.5 times 32.5, and that gives me 536.5. Please look at your revision booklets for detailed notes on this. The revision booklets that I've given you, there is a cell or a couple of cells with detailed notes of how to use upper and lower bounds. In question 13, in May, Bill sold 85 phones. In June, he sold 91 phones. Calculate the percentage increase. So what's the increase? The increase is 91 take away 85. The original value, the original one, is 85, so that's what I'm going to write as my calculation. Please always write this down. You will get marks for it. Stick this into your calculator, 91 take away 85 over 85 times by 100. That's my result there. I need to round it to a suitable value. I've rounded it to 1 decimal place, and it's 7.1%. The question may well tell you how many decimal places to round it to if necessary. Question 14, 63% of 48, so 63%, 63 over 100, of, it actually does mean times, and £4,800 or £4,800. Stick this into your calculator, and you should get a result of £3,024. Question 15, express 176 as a percentage of 800. You should know this pretty well from doing the previous ones. And when you put this into your calculator, you get 176 over 800 times 100, and your answer should be 22%. Make sure you actually do go over these. By now, you should be pretty okay at all of these. The next sheet, go onto it and make sure you are able to do it, and you're able to do it correctly and completely.